Hey guys, so this is me from the future. I just wanted to quickly put this in before I started the video, telling y'all that I did decide to actually break up this video into two parts. That way when it cuts off right after I get started in the extra deck, you're not wondering why that happened. So anyway, I'll let you get back to the present me, so see ya. Hey, welcome back guys. So I want to first of all apologize for my stupidity and my inability to read. When I was talking about Thunder End Dragon and how cool Thunder End Dragon would be in my Dragunity deck. Yeah, well, it had to be too good to be true, and it was. If you read what Thunder End Dragon's summoning conditions are, it says 2 level 8 normal monsters. Yeah, which is the reason why he goes really well in stuff like Hieratic deck, or the newly released, like the Blue Eye support deck, but not in Dragunities. I can't use Windrose, unfortunately, as one of the materials for that. So I'm going to have to find an alternative to Thunder End Dragon and sell the one that I just bought. Oh well. So anyway, so I promised one of my viewers, Skull the Summoned, he said that he has a Psychics deck. And I think he said next month he's going to Locals or something, and he wanted to take an out of the blue, not out of the blue, how did he word it? Just like a not typical meta deck, and try to beat some of the people there. This is really a deck that's going to be used for fun, I assume. It's not going to be as competitive as maybe like an Elemental Dragons, but this is a very unique deck. Well, unique in that I've never seen anyone run a Psychics deck against me on YGO Pro or in real life, so this is pretty original. I mean, you know, there are people obviously that run them somewhere out there, but this is essentially what I come up with, what I came up with, and oh my gosh, I gotta tell you, I had a lot of fun. I'm actually going to keep this deck. I'm not going to make it in real life, but I'm going to keep this deck and work with it some more. So this is just going to be the very first. It's not going to be a tutorial because I'm not a master at it, so it's just going to be a deck profile. And I've got a couple of duels where I actually use this, both practicing as well as actually getting into the flow of it. But I probably spent a good week and a half first starting out with all the Psychics, what I thought would be good, then looking into what some of the other people ran, used some of their ideas. I can actually claim at least 70% originality for this entire deck. Maybe not so much of the extra deck, but then again, you know, an extra deck for any set meta is going to be pretty well the same across the board. So anyway, excuse me. So let's get started, shall we? First of all, the Earth... No, that's not what it's called. Grand Soil, the Elemental Lord. I run one of this guy. Why? Because he does sort of have a drawback, especially since the whole idea of this deck is to lower my opponent's life points by attacking them. And I don't have a way to get rid of Grand Soil without his effect leaving me with skipping the battle phase if he leaves the field. So I only run one of him. He's not as good as Windrose in my opinion. He is a monster reborn. He is literally a monster reborn. When he hits the field, he's a free special summon and he's a free 2800 beater. I sort of like Windrose's effect better because if they activate a Torrential Tribute when Windrose is summoned, well then he still has all his spells and traps destroyed. If they activate a Torrential Tribute when Grand Soil is summoned, what the fuck was the point? I mean, honestly, all his effect was going to do was bring back a monster. He is pretty good once you have a Synchro in the grave and you can bring it back. So it's worth it. Just to run one, though. I would not run more than one because it's actually quite difficult to get 5. It's not difficult as in you're never going to do it, but it is a little more difficult than you might at first anticipate to get 5 Earth monsters in the grave and stay in the grave. Not all of these monsters are Earth. This Psychic, which actually was just recently released, is Wind, and this Psychic that has been out forever is Light. So not all my Psychics are Earth, unfortunately. And there are still some other ones that are like Dark and whatnot. But, so yeah, moving on. Armored Axon Kicker. So this guy's pretty good. If you've already got one of your Psychic monsters on the field, then you can you can normal summon him without tributing, which is really good. Just make sure when you're playing YGO Pro that if it asks you, do you want a normal summon? Do not click OK. Scoochie over to normal summon without tributing, because at first I was like, why would it ask if I wanted to normal summon him? And then I realized that there was a little arrow thing. And the other one says normal summon without tributing? And I'm like, yeah, obviously I'm not going to sacrifice the psychic monster that I have on the field if I can summon him without doing it. But I only run one of him. Some people run two of him. I don't really like his effect that much, because he does inflict damage to you. But I do run 2 level 6s because Overdrive Teleporter is a little bit better in my opinion than Armored Axon Kicker, but he has sort of more of a drawback than Armored Axon Kicker. But he's pretty good. So anyway, here's what it is. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you take damage equal to half the destroyed monster's attack. Then you can special summon one monster from your graveyard with attack less than or equal to the damage you took. So, that's the reason why I have Mental Seeker as my level 3 tuner rather than a Psychic Commander. Or a Crebins as my level 2 tuner. Instead, I have an Esper Girl. Because notice, Esper Girl has an attack of 500, and Mental Seeker has an attack of 800. Versus Crebins having or I think that's how you pronounce his name. I didn't watch the dubbed version of 5D, so I honestly don't know. Crebins has an attack of 1200, and Psychic Commander has an attack of 1400. Well, if I only get to special summon a monster with an attack of less than half of the damage that I just took, chances are I'll be able to bring out Mental Seeker and Esper Girl a lot easier. And of course, it'll be easy as shit to bring out Hush Psychic Cleric if I wanted to. It has an attack of 0. But also, same thing with Rise Bell, the Star Adjuster. I don't know what this... it should actually be called Rise Bell, the Star Adjuster. But anyway, so he's got an attack of 800 also, and he's got a really good effect. I'll get into him in a little bit. But that's the reason why I only have one Armored Axon Kicker. He's not absolutely necessary, and he does actually waste a normal summoning. You don't get a like free special summon. If it was like you get a special summon this card from your hand if you have a Psychic monster on the field, then I would. Oh my god, yeah. But considering the amount of space that I have, that's all I can really do. Overdrive Teleporter, he's my other level 6. This guy is actually pretty good, but if you don't have a Brain Research Lab on your side of the field, it can be quite costly. So some people run multiple of him. I only run one, and it does me just fine. Not that way, but you know, it does very well. So I enjoy just running one of them. So essentially, when he's in your hand, you have to tribute summon for him. He can't be special summoned in any way. But when he hits the field, once while he is up on the field, which means if you summon another one later on, you can use his effect also. But once while this guy is up on the field, it can't be once per turn. You can pay 2,000 life points to special summon 2 level 3, exactly level 3 Psychic type monsters from your deck. So you can choose a Mental Seeker, a Hushed Cleric. I usually go for a Hushed Cleric and a Mental Seeker, not really my Serene Psychic Witches. I don't really want to use her in tuning. I like her effect so much, I prefer to try to go after my Hushed Clerics first. Or a Rise Bell. Because Rise Bell is actually quite nice, because with Rise Bell and a Mental Seeker, between these two guys, you can actually make a level 9 Synchro because of Rise Bell's effect. So you can immediately go into a Hyper Psychic Blaster. Hyper Psychic Blaster! I feel like that's... oh god. I feel like that's Iron Man's attack from Marvel vs. Capcom number 2. Hyper Psychic Blaster! I can't remember, but I just feel like it is. Anyway, it's been forever since I played that game. But that's the whole point of Overdrive Teleporter. He's sort of like a double emergency teleport, except it has to be exactly level 3, but it's really good. So anyway, one Psychic Snail. I only run one Psychic Snail. He's pretty good when you've got the field advantage. Otherwise, he's not, so there's no point in running more than one of him. He's good if he's out. If he's not, whoop-de-doo. But you can pay 800 life points to select one of your other face-up Psychic type monsters. It can attack twice, but Psychic Snail sacrifices his own attack that turn. But the thing is, you can do that to multiple Psychic monsters. So you could have a Hyper Psychic Blaster and an Overmind Archfiend on the field, pay 1,600 life points, and both of them can attack twice. That's how you OTK, is because of Psychic Snail. Now, you don't want to get Psychic Snail jumbled, like, you don't want him clogging up your deck, because it's only when you have the advantage. So if you draw into him, you have to waste a normal summoning to get him out, and it's okay. But it's really best if you have like Brain Research Lab, and I'll get into Brain Research Lab in a little bit. So every Psychic deck runs 3 Silent Psychic Wizards and 3 Serene Psychic Witches. So what Silent Psychic Wizard does, and you'll notice this trend with a lot of the monsters in here, if you've got a monster in your graveyard, a Psychic monster, that's when stuff starts to happen. So in this particular case, when this card is normal summoned, you can select one Psychic type monster in your graveyard and remove it from play. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, special summon that remove monster. So I try to target either Mental Seekers or Esper Girls that are in my graveyard, remove them from play, and then when he leaves the field, they'll be special summoned. Because Mental Seeker and Esper Girl both have an effect that reads, you know, when it... Well, I'll get into it a little bit later. But anyway, so yeah, Silent Psychic Wizard's really good because A, he's got 1900 attack, just like Psychic Snail. You could make a rank 4 if you wanted to switch up your extra deck. Like, I mean, you don't have to run this exact setup. You're free to choose whatever you want. But you could make a rank 4. He doesn't get summoned enough. Like, I normally tune with him, is the reason why I don't have any rank 4s, like Utopia. Is because I'm normally tuning with this guy. Like, I already have a tuner up on the field. I'll summon this guy, remove from play an Esper Girl, tune Silent Psychic Wizard with my tuner, make a Synchro monster, and then Esper Girl comes to the field, and then I activate Esper Girl's effect. So, like, if this guy is used for a Synchro summon, then that remove from play monster gets special summoned immediately, because it says when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard. So, it's actually really good for that reason. Serene Psychic Witch, she's a level 3. So when this card is on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can remove from play one Psychic type monster with 2000 or less attack from your deck, not from the graveyard. She's the rare exception. That's the reason why you have to run 3 of her. It's because she will actually special summon from your deck. During the next standby phase, special summon the monster removed from play by this effect. She's almost like an Abyss Lind for Mermail Atlanteans. Or Mermails, just period. Where if she's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can remove from play one Psychic type monster. Now, she does have a limitation. It has to be 2000 or less attack. And then next standby phase. So if she's like face down, your opponent attacks, okay, remove from play a monster, they end their turn, I draw my standby phase, immediately special summon that monster. So I usually try to target Esper Girls and Mental Seekers, if possible. Maybe the occasional Rise Bell, but mainly go after these 2 right here. So anyway, the 3 Psychic Witches, she's really good. I try not to use her for any of my tuning, my synchroing, whatever you want to call it, because her effect when she's destroyed is just so good. I really want her to be fodder more than anything. So anyway, with the release of Rise Bell, the Star Adjuster, Emergency Teleport has seen a lot of action of summoning this guy right here. Because he can pump up, when this card is special summoned, like by Emergency Teleport, or Overdrive Teleporter, or by Witches or Silent Psychic Wizard's effect, then you can target one face-up monster on the field, increase its level by up to 3 until the end phase. That up to 3, not exactly 3, which means all of these bad boys down here have just now become possible. It is so amazing, you might lose your mind. It's just so good. And I run 2 of them, because there's no reason to run 3. He has to be special summoned, and he's not a tuner or anything, so it's not amazing, but he is pretty damn good. So, plus remember, he's got a low attack, so, what's it called? Whenever you use Armored Axon Kicker's effect, chances are that you might be able to special summon this guy from the grave. Anyway, so Mental Seeker, now I can finally get into it. I have 3 level 3 tuners, Mental Seeker is a tuner, and 2 level 2 tuners, Esper Girl's a tuner. You don't want more. I try to keep a 2-to-1 ratio, if possible, of, although this is a little more of a 2-to-1 ratio in this particular case, but I'm trying to do a 2-to-1 ratio of like Psychic monsters, tuners to non-tuners, or non-tuners to tuners. because you don't want to be like crowding your deck with a whole bunch of tuners. You'll notice that you'll get a couple dead draws, but I like this balance of these 5 tuners right here, mainly because they're pretty easy to get out. I try not to use them as fodder because it's a waste of a turn, but I'm usually pretty good with it being able to get all the shit out. So this is what I'm working with right now. It might change in the future. Who knows? So far I've been having success with this, but you know, you're always free to change and whatnot. So Mental Seeker, when this removed from play card is special summoned, reveal the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck and select one of them. Remove the selected card from play, then return the rest to their deck. Now, I assume that means shuffling. I can't remember if my opponent shuffled when I did this, but so many times I have fucked over Jarvis with this card because, like, I'll select the top 3 cards are 2 monsters and a Dark Hole. And I'm like, well, Dark Hole, you just got removed from play. This guy is quite good with being able to do that, so yeah, he's really good for that. And it's not too hard to special summon him from when he was removed from play, because Serene Psychic Witch helps out with that. Also, Silent Psychic Wizard helps out with that, and even Hush Psychic Cleric, you will notice, or you will see, also helps out with that. So it's quite possible to do that. It's quite nice. So 2 Hush Psychic Clerics. This guy has pretty decent. When this card is normal or flip summoned, it is changed to defense position. Once per turn, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard and select 1 Psychic type monster in your graveyard. So he also targets Psychic monsters in the graveyard. And remove it from play. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, select 1 monster removed from play by this effect and special summon it. So he's sort of like Silent Psychic Wizard, where, you know, except Wizard has to be normal summoned in order to do it. This guy can do it once this turn and then like once next turn. Actually, yeah, once this turn and once next turn, so you can keep doing it over and over again. But he does require you to discard a card. So that's the reason why, like, I have 2 Terraformings to try to get out my Brain Research Labs. If I've got a dead Terraforming in my hand, you know what? I can just ditch it for Hush Cleric. I don't really use this guy's effect as often because I'm normally tuning with him. But if you do use his effect and then you tune with this guy, then because he left the field, that remove from play monster is now coming to the field. So, like, if you remove from play an Esper Girl and then you tune him with Mental Seeker to bring out like Psychic Nightmare, now Esper Girl's coming to the field and you get to use her effect. So he's got 2100 defense, so it's okay, and 0 attack. So now you know. Now let's get into Esper Girl. She's actually quite good too. She actually can help you get a +1 to your hand if you use her properly. So when this remove from play card is special summoned, just like Mental Seeker, remove from play the top card of your deck, face down. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, add that removed card to your hand. She's actually quite nice with that, especially when it's like a spell card, like Emergency Teleport, which I've actually had happen to me before. It's a really nice, pleasant surprise, I might add. So yeah, Esper Girl, she can be removed from play, and then during your standby phase, because of Psychic Witch's effect, she's special summoned to the field, and then you remove from play the top card on your deck face down, and then you tune with her with like a Hush Cleric or something, make a magical android. Now you add that card to your hand, so that's like a +1. It's pretty cool because you already drew, plus you got another card, so it's okay. And I run 1 Psychic Field Zone. This card, it's the same reason why I only run 1 Miracle Synchro Fusion. If I get this card in my hand, it's good, but I don't want to get it early on in the game. If I do, I have to wait because I can't do anything with it. So what it does is select 2 of your remove from play monsters, 1 Psychic type tuner and 1 Psychic non-tuner. Return them to the graveyard and special summon 1 Psychic type Synchro monster from your extra deck in face-up defense position, whose level equals the total levels of the returned monsters. Now, the reason why, chances are that I'm not exactly going to be able to use this as often as you might hope. I mean, there are a few monsters in here that allow me to remove from play, like my Psychic monsters, that I could then special summon them back, but you know, it doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it's really good, and I can summon my my Synchro Monster, and of course it can't attack this turn. So I might actually remove this card, I don't know. I'm still testing it, like I said. So we'll see how it goes. So far it hasn't been bad, but it hasn't really helped him either, so just food for thought. I've got Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, because you need to. I've got one Miracle Synchro Fusion, because this card is actually perfect for a deck like this. This card was also probably made for, hold on, let me check. Draco. This card. One Dragon type Synchro Monster plus one Warrior type monster. Okay, so yeah, it was also to help out with that card. I thought it was. I wasn't sure. This is the card that's actually used in 5Ds with Stardust Dragon. So anyway, where was I? Miracle Synchro Fusion. So yeah, you remove from play from your side of the field, from your side of the field, from your side of the field or your graveyard. Wow, I sound like a retard. The fusion material monsters listed on a fusion monster card that lists a Synchro monster as a fusion material monster, and special summon that fusion monster from the extra deck. This special summon is treated as a fusion summon. If this set card is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, draw one card. So it's, I mean, I would never set this fucking card, but if it does get set, because maybe you have too many cards in your hand, then you still get the benefit of drawing a card and whatnot. But obviously, you can probably tell why I have this in here, because of Ultimate Axon Kicker. Now, this guy actually rapes ass. So he kicks ass, as you might say. But he's really good. Notice what his art is, his card art is. That's obviously Thought Ruler Archfiend as the Synchro Monster. And I don't know what the fuck the, what would, no, I don't know what his other, whoa. I don't know what his combination is. But it's very interesting to look at. But this guy's really good. I'll get into him in a little bit. But yeah, so it's not too hard to get out a psychic Synchro Monster. And, I mean, you're going to have plenty of fucking Psychics in the grave. So once they go to the grave, then you can just use Miracle Synchro Fusion, banish them, and then, you know, just summon this guy. And remember, it doesn't matter about levels, so it's not like this, because he's level 10, it has to be a level 6 and a level 4 that gets used to make him, because he's just a fusion. But it's really good. Terraforming to get out Brain Research Lab. Need I say more? Mystical Space Typhoon, because I hate back row. Need I say more? 3 emergency teleports. Every psychic deck runs 3 emergency teleports. Why? Because it's stupid to not run 3 emergency teleports. If you're running pure psychics. So select special summon one level 3 or lower psychic type monster from hand or deck during the end phase, banish that monster. So obviously it's sort of like a rekindling. Don't let it stay on the field. Special summon it. So if you've got a tuner on the field, go after a non-tuner like Rise Bell. If you've got a non-tuner on the field, go after a tuner like Mental Seeker or Esper Girl, whatever. That's the whole point of it. It's really good. And I'm actually going to save Brain Research Lab to the very end, because this is the heart and soul of the deck right here. Draining Shield, because it's Psychics. If you don't have Brain Research Lab on the field, then you actually have to pay life points, so it's good to be able to negate an attack and gain life points equal to it. You can always take this card out. I'm still testing with it. I have yet to use Draining Shield, because I usually kill my opponent before I even need to use it. Starlight Road, really, because I would rather go for a Thought Ruler Archfiend or a Blackwing Dragon before I go for a Stardust. But this is good for being able to save my monsters, save my spell cards, whatever. It's Starlight Road. I mean, need I say more? Compulsory evacuation device to get rid of those annoying monsters, such as I'm trying to think. Stardust Dragon, Blackluster Soldier. I don't know. Something that obviously not Blackluster Soldier in terms of like Stardust Dragon can't be destroyed because it'll just negate it. But you know, stuff to just get rid of stuff. You know. Brain Hazard. So select one of your remove from play psychic monsters and special summon it. When this card is removed from the field, destroy that monster. When that monster is destroyed, destroy this card. Okay, so it's sort of like an escape from the darkness, except it's for psychics instead of darks. I don't know if I want to keep 2 of them in this deck, because the occurrences of actually having a psychic monster removed from play that wasn't by another effect, so it's going to come to the field, is not as often as I thought it would be, actually, when I first dreamt up this deck. So, Brain Hazard, I have only drawn into it once, and actually those 3 scientists right there on the Brain Hazard card look like those 3 same scientists right there. In fact, holy shit! Maybe that's the reason why this is Brain Research Lab and that's Brain Hazard. Because that shit that went haywire, that's in the center tube. That's crazy. Anyway, oh my gosh. I don't know why I'm so impressed by that. Anyway, so yeah, that's what Brain Hazard does. I'm still, you know, messing around with like my spells and traps and whatnot. I might actually, I might actually trade out one of the Brain Hazards, or at least a Psychic's Feel Zone, for my another Mind Over Matter, because Mind Over Matter is pretty damn good. It's sort of like it's almost like a Solemn Judgment, where you tribute one Psychic type monster. Usually, you know, it's not that big of a deal to tribute a Psychic type monster to be able to save your other Psychic type monsters. So tribute a Psychic type monster and you get the activation of a spell or trap card, or the normal or special summon of a monster, and destroy that card. Obviously, unfortunately, the art that is on this card is Mind Master, and that motherfucker got banned. I don't know why. He's not that good, in my opinion. I've read what his effect does. He's okay. But, yeah, so that's Mind Over Matter. It's like a Solemn Judgment for Psychics. It's pretty good. That's the reason why I'm really thinking about running 2, getting rid of Psychic Feel Zone. It depends on how I feel after I've dueled some more. So, yeah, anyway, so let's go through the list, shall we? Levier, because I have a couple level 3s that I could go into if I wanted to. Plus, you know, Levier has the ability to bring back Spanish. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take out Levier, because I don't need his ability to special summon my remove from play monsters, because that's what fucking Brain Hazard's for. But yeah, anyway, so I've got Chronomaly. It turns out that this guy's a psychic monster, so that's the main reason why I was attracted to him at first. Not like that, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, which is good, because then that means that Psychic, you know, like Psychic Snail could make him attack twice. And he's good because he benefits from all the other Psychic-related cards that say Psychic in its name that actually benefit the Psychic monsters. Hopefully that made sense. But anyway, once per turn, when this card is targeted for an attack, you can detach one XYZ material from this card this turn. This card cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. Also, your opponent takes any battle damage you would take from battle involving this card. It's not that great, but I was trying to fill up space, and I really felt like I needed a rank 3 in there that wasn't a Zen mains. So, if you've got any suggestions on what would be good rank 3s in a Psychic deck, I'm not going to use Levier. Levier is just not as good as you think. It has to be level 4 or lower. So if you did like Miracle Synchro Fusion and you banished one of any of your freaking Synchro monsters, you couldn't get it back with Levier. You could only get back maybe the non-Synchro monster if it was level 4 or lower. So Levier is not as great as you would initially think in this deck. So anyway, yeah, so I'm back again from the future. Just wanted to tell you that I will continue with Catastor and all the rest of my extra deck in the next vid. So just think about any questions or concerns that you would have for this deck, post them in the comments, and then I will be sure to post the remainder of my deck talk, as well as some of the duels that I actually have in the next video for part 2. So thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you all next time. Thanks for watching.